Hello, Scratch Coders. This is Mike Grasso from Private Pook Games, following up my previous video on basic movement in Scratch with a quick tutorial on using variables to make your code easier to fix, easier to adjust, and easier to read. And we're going to do that by taking a look here. So in the last video, we made basic movement for the right arrow, left arrow, up arrow, and down arrow, and then optionally you can play around with these values. Right now I have them set to the initial values of 10 so that whenever I'm pressing an arrow key, my little Scratch character here is moving by 10 spaces on the X or Y axis, either positive or negative on the X or positive or negative on the Y. And that's great. The only problem is when I want to change this, like let's say I want to try a different speed, I had to go in and I had to change it in 4 different places. That's not only messy, that's not only time consuming, but it also requires that once my code becomes more complicated and I have blocks all over the place, I need to remember where this is. And that becomes really hard to do later when we get a big project together and we have lots of other gameplay elements in. So one of the things I always suggest is avoid these little magic numbers, these 10 and this negative 10. Let's not have that in this big block of code. Let's make a variable to represent it. So I'm going to click make a variable. I'm going to call it move speed. I'm going to use something called camel case. Camel case is a very, very common coding convention where the first word in your variable is all lowercase letters, and then any additional words are, whoops, made that look a little weird. Any additional words after that start with a capital letter. So move speed is all lowercase m for move, and speed is uppercase for S. Now, if I was going to make this something bigger, like move really fast, notice what I've done. I've made the M lowercase, and I've made the R in really capital, and I've made the F in fast capital. And the reason we do that is because it makes it very readable, and it makes me immediately know that it's a variable when I see that. So I have move speed, and right away I can see that it pops up visually on my screen. I don't want that, so I'm going to click it off. I'm going to drag move speed over here for now so I can see it on my board. And then I'm going to make another variable, and that's going to be neg move speed. That's a fancy way of saying negative move speed. One of the limitations that I found in Scratch, and if anyone knows a way past this, please comment in the comment section, is that you can't just assign move speed to its negative value, and we're going to need a negative value for it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take these variables and I'm going to set move speed to 10 because that's currently what I have. All right, which actually reminds me, I don't need these on. I'll take these off. And then I am also going to set negative move speed to negative 10. So essentially what I'm doing is instead of having to change 10 and 10 here and negative 10 and negative 10 here, I'm going to make 2 blocks right here that are going to do it for me. Okay? Now, the easy way to do this, and I'm going to show you a better way in a second, is I just put this under here where it says when flag clicked. And so then before I even have the option of moving, I have set my move speeds manually. So now what I do is I take move speed, the variable, and I plug it in where I had 10 in these 2 places, and then I take negative move speed and plug it in where I had negative 10 in these spaces. Now that might seem like I put in 2 extra code blocks to do the same thing I did before, and you are kind of right, except now if I want to change my speed and play around with it, I only have 2 places to do it, and I did it super fast. And it is much easier to work with, and it is much more readable. Now I'm going to go one step further and put these back to 10 and negative 10, and I'm going to say that right away here I have to do something that is called refactoring my code, because right here this is becoming an extremely large code block, and I don't need it to be. So it's okay to do that, but what I think is a better idea is let's have a when flag clicked here and have all the key controls here, but then let's put our actual variables in a separate place. Let's go ahead, go back to events, get another when flag clicked, because I can have 2 of these, I can have 3 of these, I can have 10 of them. It doesn't matter. When I click this flag here, both of these code blocks will be put in place. So I'm going to put it here, and now I can see I have one space where my variables are here, and they're really easy to find, and then one space where my key controls are at. So I'm going to click this, and as you can see, It works just the same as before, only now it is really easy to change in the code my character's move speed right here, and it is really easy to see where my key controls are right here. So I have clean, organized code, I don't have magic numbers, and I have very easy to change variables, and I have learned yet something else about coding that is super important. So thank you so much for watching. Please put any comments or questions in the comments, and thank you so much.